Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message. Namaste and greetings. Moving on through August. Today, we are in for a bumpy ride. The turbulence of love. Woo. So, if I were to ask how many of us would volunteer for turbulent relationships, most of us, we don't want them. Very few of us would acknowledge and say, yes, I accept willingly the turbulent relationships. And yet, simply being alive guarantees that there will be some kind of turbulence in some way, shape, or form, simply because we're alive. And when we can acknowledge this and then begin to navigate the various challenges, the various conflicts, the various ups and downs, and reasons for the ups and downs, including the life affirming version of those and the non life affirming version of those. Keep in mind, right? Because, just as an example, the wave rises and falls, but it's precisely because of the rise and the fall that the surfer gets to do what they do. So there's nothing wrong with turbulent, quote unquote, waters that move. It's when it becomes a storm and we have to figure out, okay, how do we navigate this? So just being clear, some challenges, life affirming, some are not. Some conflicts, life affirming, some are not. Now, as we're going through this, we gain various insights if we're open to them. And these insights help us to maintain a state of harmony, a place of resilience. And when we develop these qualities and skills through applied mindfulness, fierce yet peaceful, abiding love, and a deep understanding, not just during the turbulent times, but also during the times of peace and calm. How we do anything is how we do everything. So, are we maintaining this peace and calm in times when there's no turbulence, as well as when there's turbulence? How do we show up? Breathe. So, do you fly? I don't mean like Superman, but do you fly? What was that phrase? What was that phrase? Oh shoot. Oh yeah, that's right. Fly the friendly skies. Yes, the friendly skies. But yeah, the sometimes there are the not so friendly skies. Now, if you had a choice, which would you choose? I'm with him. Duh. Like, are you even asking which would I choose? Of course, I'm going to choose the bumpy one that makes the mask drop, and of course, I'm going to pick. No, we want smooth flights, no turbulence or very minimal turbulence, and certainly no storms. That is most certainly the preference. And yet, the possibility of turbulence simply exists whenever we take flight. But have we ever stopped to ask, well, what causes turbulence? Like, what is it? Simply a sudden, violent shift in airflow. What causes this? Wind, storms, jet stream, other nearby objects near the plane, such as a mountain range, right? These just a variety of things. Turbulence in the context of aviation refers to sudden, erratic movements of an aircraft due to disturbances in the airflow. It is a natural phenomenon that can range from mild bumps to more intense jolts. But it is generally not a safety concern for the aircraft, though it can be uncomfortable or even frightening for the passengers. Okay. sudden, erratic disturbances, frightening. Does that ever happen in relationships? It's a lot like a roller coaster. A turbulent love relationship is characterized by instability, frequent arguments, emotional highs and lows, and overall disorder. It can feel like a roller coaster with unpredictable shifts in mood and behavior, leading to feelings of anxiety and exhaustion. These relationships often involve intense passion, but also significant conflict and uncertainty. Say that again. Instability, frequent arguments, overall disorder. Is this what we sign up for when we? Now, once again, how do we discern what's life affirming and what's not? Right? When we are raising children and, usually what we call the terrible twos, or once they hit adolescence, certainly there are emotional highs and lows. There's all kinds of stuff going on with teenagers, all kinds of stuff. They grow in hair in places they're like, what's going on? They got smells coming from places that all kinds of stuff, mood swings, all kinds of stuff. It's like Mercury retrograde has possessed their body. But that's part of their development. When you're with a grown person and they are expressing narcissistic tendencies, overall emotional outburst, lots of blame, lots of venom, toxicity. Yeah, that's not life affirming. That's abusive. It's turbulence with the possibility of making us crash. Breathe. When another person makes you suffer, it's because that person suffers deeply within themselves. And their suffering is spilling over, and they don't need punishment from us. They need help. That's the message that they are sending. Help me. Remember our mantras last week? The one mantra was, I am suffering, please help me. Thich Nhat Hanh is saying that they are suffering in some way, shape, or form. Now, he says they don't need punishment. Now, clarify. Jeffrey Dahmer, most certainly needed to be held accountable, which included prison time. What Thich Nhat Hanh is saying is make sure you are also going to the core of why is he suffering? What's going on within him that's causing him to let his suffering spill out in such a horrific way? Otherwise, prison is simply warehousing people, not healing people. So don't punish them, rehabilitate them. Radical restorative justice. They need help. Remix in a moment. What's the evidence? Do you know the signs of life affirming suffering, non life affirming suffering, the spillover? Who needs help? Who needs, do you know what to look for? What are the red flags within a relationship, within an interaction? What are they? Do we know? For example, in such an instance as this, do you know what to look for between these two? We know the one is butter. One of the other ones is sugar, the other one is salt. Do you know the difference? Do you know how to discern the difference between which one is sugar and which one is salt? It makes a big difference, right? If a recipe is calling for a quarter a cup of sugar, and you put a quarter cup of salt, it's going to be a very tasting cupcake. Very tasting. I don't know what the tasting is, but it's going to be a salty. Right? So, do you know the difference? I'm asking. Oh, okay. Salt and sugar. Okay, but for only $7.99, I want to also ask you, do you know the difference? Do you know what to look for when it's poisonous? Some of the mushrooms here, the fungus is poisonous. Do you know how to tell the difference? Do you know? Okay. What's behind door number one? So edible, 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 non-edible. Wow. Okay. 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 Yep. 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 See, we get into relationships and we cannot discern oftentimes when a relationship is inedible, when it's toxic, when it's harmful. Why don't we know? Is it because our taste buds are off? Is it because our knowledge is it's a mushroom. I'm gonna eat it. Well, no, some you're not supposed to eat. It look tasty though. Some you don't eat. I'm gonna eat it anyway. Right? Well, like what's the reason we don't know? Or for some, we do know. We know the red flags. We choose to ignore them. Why do we do that? We can't effectively change or heal until we get to the core of our consciousness and our motivations in terms of why we live and how we live the way that we do. Someone is cooking a meal, right? And so this is my remix from a couple of slides ago, Thich Nhat Hanh. When another person serves an inedible meal that would make you suffer to eat it, it is because he has a lack of knowledge and or skill. And this ignorance causes him to ineffectively prepare the food. His ignorance is spilling over. He does not need punishment, he needs help. That is the message he is sending. Julia Child, help me. Gordon Ramsay, no, never mind, not Gordon. Bobby Flay, help me. I don't know how to make toast. Now, the thing is, oftentimes when someone serves us, because we're not in a space of self worth, we eat, we ingest the venom of their words and the venom of their action, blaming ourselves and shaming ourselves as though we truly deserve to be abused. Well, my such and such wouldn't call me stupid if it wasn't true. It's toxic though. So if we're going to heal the world, it's got to start here with us, getting to that place of what does it mean to address our own wounds, our own inner turbulence, and to be able to navigate the skies of our life accordingly in life affirming ways with ease and grace. Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Like, what does that mean to you? Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Imagine that every step you take is blessing the earth. Everywhere you go, you are revitalizing the very ground itself as though it was sacred and holy. Walk and live as if you are healing the earth with each step that you take and with each breath that you breathe. You are that powerful. But if you're not living that way, if you're not living with that awareness, then you're like Peter Parker, who got superpowers, but didn't use them for good initially. He just wanted to make money. You have these great powers of awareness and wisdom and creativity, divinity. But if you don't embody it, then how can you live, move, and have your beingness as a healing, beneficial presence? People have a hard time letting go of their suffering out of a fear of the unknown. They prefer the suffering that is familiar. I'm sure we know when we've done that, or we know someone else who's done that. The suffering is familiar. And one of the things that we suffer a great deal regarding, and one of the places of turbulence in our lives, is precisely this. Do you know what this kanji concept is? Impermanence, the state or fact of lasting for only a limited period of time. Impermanence. It is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. What do we want to be permanent? There are a lot of things we want to be permanent. Both of my parents have made their transition. I would have loved for their time on this planet in this form to have been permanent, whatever that even means, without them dying, without me dying, without anybody dying. But that's not very realistic in our current state of awareness and existence. And so when we cling, when we are attached, we suffer. We can feel grief and we can feel pain. But when we cling with that attachment, that's when we suffer. The butterfly counts not months, but moments, and has time enough. The butterfly, being present, has time enough. Do we? To love someone fiercely, to believe in something with your whole heart, to celebrate a fleeting moment in time, to fully engage in a life that doesn't come with guarantees. These are risks that involve vulnerability and often pain. But I'm learning that recognizing and leaning into the discomfort of vulnerability teaches us how to live with joy, gratitude, and grace. Joy, gratitude, and grace by leaning into the pain or the grief or the vulnerability, being present. There are many instances that I can look back and say, wow, if I knew then what I know now, I would have cherished the time. I would have cherished the people. I would have cherished the moment more then. But now all I can do is look back and, remember what I do remember and feel what I do feel. And while certainly there isn't, what I would call regret, there is a certain level of, mm, mm, I don't know what word to put with that, but it's just a feeling. But it's recognizing that no matter what's going on, there is always the ticking clock or the sands of time. There is always impermanence. So, our best way to navigate it is to be here now, be present. See, because if I'm focusing on, oh man, I wish I could have spent more time with the grandkids when they were really young, because they're two of them are teenagers now, and they ain't got time for me, not the way they did when they were really young. If I do that now, then I'm not being fully present now, which means I'm missing the moments now. Fierce love is in the moment, cherishing the people and the experiences as best we can in the here and now, knowing that all things in this physical experience change, they move, and they are impermanent. Breathe. Cherish your relationships, cherish your love, cherish your connections, cherish all that life is now. Do not wait. Do not spend time on woulda, coulda, shouldas and regret. Heal, change, and transform. Serve, all within the space of be here now. This breath is gone. Be here now. This breath is gone. This breath is here and now gone. A new breath, here and now gone. Breathe. Carpe diem. While it can be challenging to seize the day in every single moment, what we are invited to do is increase those moments of active awareness and mindfulness in the right here and right now. In these moments of lucidity, we can be more fully present with those we love. Do not waste time trying to seize every moment. Not every moment is going to be held in the way that we would like to. Sometimes we slip into simply by rote, right? If I'm tying my shoes, am I fully present on tying my shoes or getting out into the car to warm it up to go to an appointment? Right? Because if I'm mindfully tying my shoes, then it means I'm taking time, I'm being present, I'm feeling the strings in my fingers, the texture. It means I'm noticing the aroma in the air, the humidity or the coolness. My mind is right here. It's not in the car, it's not on traffic, it's not at the appointment. It's right here, right now. That kind of awareness is not going to always be 24 hours a day. I don't even know if it's supposed to be, but regardless, be present as often as you can be present. It's as simple as that. Be present as often as you can be, moment by moment, breath by breath. Who are you loving fiercely while acknowledging and knowing that your time is limited, their time is limited? Who are you choosing to love fiercely while knowing this? Loving fiercely means loving fully, one moment at a time, moment by moment, in the forever now, moment by moment. Loving fully, loving fiercely, now, moment by moment. You will, she doesn't say maybe, you will lose someone you can't live without. You will lose someone that you love deeply. You will. And your heart will be badly broken. And the bad news is that you never completely get over the loss of your beloved. But this is also the good news. They live forever in your broken heart that doesn't seal back up, and you come through. It's like having a broken leg that never heals perfectly, that still hurts when the weather gets cold, but you learn to dance even with the limp. See, oftentimes in New Thought, we try to bypass and say, you should feel good all the time. No. I mean, there's the deeper goodness that we always feel, but when there's grief, be present with the grief, both and. I can feel that deep, abiding goodness and grieve at the same time. I can acknowledge the brokenheartedness that I feel, the absence and the loss, while still recognizing and knowing in spirit, in God, nothing and no one is ever lost. And there is infinite oneness forever and ever, eternally, both and. So, our invitation in Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 is to be real. Tears shed for another person are not a sign of weakness. They are not a sign of poor New Thought principles. They are not a sign of any such thing. They are a sign of a pure and loving heart. So, those of you who know me know that I love comic books, Marvel movies, DC movies, and such. And a while back, there was a television series on Disney Plus called WandaVision, based upon the character of Wanda Maximoff, who in this image, she is the young girl on the floor sitting next to her twin brother. If you follow her story within the Marvel Cinematic Universe specifically, you see a great study, a great demonstration, a perfect exploration of grief. Here's the synopsis. Wanda, growing up with her brother Pietro and their parents, she loses her parents. They die in a bombing. It's just her and her brother. She sees, they're gone. Her brother's knocked out, and she sees a missile, and it's ticking like it didn't go off, but it could. So there's trauma related to it. Like, is it going to go off? Is it going to go off? Where are we getting ready to die? Fast forward, her and her brother are then captured, kidnapped, what's the word I wanted? Indoctrinated, brainwashed, and turned into weapons. He has extraordinary speed, and she has chaos magic. He has the ability to warp people's minds and make what they greatly fear, basically make it manifest to them so much that she controls them. The fear controls them. So they're weaponized as teenagers. Fast forward, they both wake up and realize, wait a minute, we're on the wrong side. So now they're helping the Avengers defeat Ultron. And in this battle, her brother gets killed. So a scene in WandaVision, she and Vision are talking about the grief that she feels regarding her parents, her brother, and she says, it's like a wave washing over me again and again. It knocks me down, and it just comes for me again when I try to stand up. And I can't. It's going to drown me. To which Vision replies, no, no, it won't. And she wonders, well, how do you know that? Well, because it can't all be sorrow, can it? I've always been alone, so I don't know the feeling of lack. I don't feel that lack. I've always been alone. It's all I've ever known. I have never felt loss because I have never had a loved one to lose. But the key line he then says is, but what is grief if not love persevering? Grief is precisely the feeling of the love regarding whatever it is we are grieving, the appreciation for, the absence of. Beginning anew is not easy. We have to transform our hearts and our minds in a very practical way. We may feel ashamed, but shame is not enough to change our heart. Beginning anew is not to ask for forgiveness. Beginning anew is to change your mind and your heart, to transform the ignorance that brought about wrong actions of body, of speech, and of mind, and to help you cultivate your mind of love. Your shame and guilt will disappear, and you will begin to experience the joys of being alive. All wrongdoings arise in the mind, in consciousness. It is through the mind that wrongdoings can disappear. Beginning anew is an opportunity for us to recall some regret from earlier this week and undo it. Loving speech is crucial. We want to heal the community, not harm it. We want to heal the world, not harm it. We speak frankly, but we do not want to be destructive. Listening meditation is an important part of this practice. When we sit among a circle of friends who are all practicing deep listening, our speech becomes more beautiful, more constructive, more healing. We never blame or argue. Compassionate listening is crucial. We listen with the willingness to relieve the suffering of the other person, not to judge or argue with them. We listen with all of our attention. Even if we hear something that is not true, we continue to listen deeply so the other person can express all of their pain and release all of the tension that they have within themselves. It is written previously that all wrongdoings arise in the mind. It is through the mind that all wrongdoings can disappear. This teaching is in direct alignment with the teachings of science of mind. The belief and thinking of our minds create the container of our experiences in this thing called life. If we encounter situations that don't align with our desires, we gently return to our mental equivalents, the entire mindset that moves and has its being as us. This creates, with the law, a new series of experiences, a new direction, a course correct. We become more accountable, more responsible, more aligned with this new course, this desired course, which starts in our thoughts and our words, our emotions and feelings, and our actions. So, how do we start anew? We pause, recognize, and identify what we seek to experience and change. We engage in our practices, such as spiritual mind treatment, prayer, meditation, writing, speaking to a therapist, a practitioner, a minister. We put into consciousness another possibility by changing our mental equivalents, which we then embody and repeat over and over again. evaluating and changing as needed, right? Daniel didn't wax on, wax off once. It was wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, all of the cars. Paint the fence, the whole fence, sand the floor, the entire, it was a series of over and over repetition. So anytime love and life gets bumpy, we have the opportunity to reflect on what is the source of this turbulence and how do I best navigate in order to land safely. So back to Wanda. As her story progresses, she loses Vision, the love of her life. And not just once, she loses him twice. Right after she loses him here, and then he's brought back and she witnesses him being eliminated. Then, in her grief, she in essence recreates him and creates children simply out of her pain, her magic, her consciousness. But then she realizes this isn't right and it's not actually real. So she lets all of it fade. So she loses him again. Then her grief takes a very non life affirming twist, and she realizes in other multiverse versions of herself, she has children. So she devises a plan to go to one of the multiverse platforms of creation and get her kids, be with her kids, either bring them with her or stay there with them, which means eliminating the version of her in that universe. So here we see Wanda from one universe kneeling and crying to the version of herself, Wanda, from another universe, multiversal expression of herself. And she's deeply distraught, but the other Wanda comforts her. And like the Japanese art of kintsugi, that simple act of forgiveness and grace begins to give Wanda the ability to heal. What is grief if not love persevering? No matter how turbulent life gets, how do we stay anchored and grounded in love? How do we persevere? How do we allow ourselves to be resilient? With what's going on in the United States and in the world now, how do we persevere? How do we heal? How do we demonstrate our resilience? Only people who are capable of loving strongly can also suffer great sorrow. But this same necessity of loving serves to counteract their grief and is precisely the thing that heals them. A psychopath is not capable of loving strongly. They're too narcissistic. So they are not going to suffer a great sorrow, technically. For many of them, there is a lack of empathy, a lack of emotional connection. So for us, how capable are we of loving strongly? Those who are able to adapt and change in accord with the enemy and achieve victory are called divine. Now, Sun Tzu was focused on a very specific thing here, the art of war. So our remix is those who are able to adapt and change in accord with the ever-changing ebb and flow of life can achieve victory and will have embodied the divine. When we have embodied the divine, then we are truly living fully. Breathe. Because once again, living fully means loving fully, loving fiercely, being free, being whole, perfect, and complete, being the divine expressing itself as each of us, one moment at a time, moment by moment. I am that which is ever becoming, expressing itself as me. Aham Brahmasmi. The Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 gives us the means to take flight and to soar in our lives by keeping one another soaring, even amid the turbulence of life. No matter the cause of the turbulence, grief, separation, loss, death, anger, political upheaval and strife, hatred, illness, and more, this teaching helps us navigate the changing currents and the gusts that shake us about. We remember our Declaration of Principles, specifically number 4, with a Rev Ray remix. We believe heaven is what we are an expression of, and that we will experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it, embody it, and apply it as the way we live our daily lives. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first, and if it resonates with you, I invite you to repeat it with me the second time. God is love, which means I am love. And through this power of love, I am present and resilient. Together. God is love, which means I am love. And through this power of love, I am present and resilient. And so it is. For our Thursday night study group questions or your own personal journal questions, in what ways have I experienced turbulence in my life? When I experience turbulence now, what do I tend to do to navigate it? And is that effective? Is it life affirming? What are two benefits that I can derive from accepting impermanence? How do I demonstrate perseverance, resilience? What are some of my scars, the gold, the kintsugi, that are readily visible? What does it look like for me to walk as if I am kissing the earth with my feet? If someone looked at an overview of my life, would they readily see how I have changed in my mental equivalence? Would the changes be for the better? What would they see? And what inspired these changes? This week's The Practice. Have a conversation with someone about how you handle, how you navigate, how you manage grief, loss, separation, death. Have a conversation with someone about how you want to be thought of and remembered by others. What do you want the impact of your life to have been? And breathe. Simply knowing and recognizing the isness and allness of spirit right where we are. I simply sit in the gratitude of this moment, being here now, appreciating this moment, this time, this awareness. The way the air caresses my body, causes my lungs to expand and contract as the muscles expand and contract to pull air in and push it out. Simply being present to all that is, the smell of incense that I am taking in, the sound of the fan in the other room. Simply being here now, and the amazing blessing that it avails to each and every one of us. And so, as Goethe said, or Meister Eckhart said, somebody said, if the only prayer you ever say your entire life is thank you, it is more than enough. So I simply sit in the space of gratitude, allowing my life to say thank you for me. There is no God that I need to say thank you to, but I can thank the people in my life. I can thank the stranger in the store. I can express thank you. Yes, I can express it verbally, but I can also embody the appreciation and the gratitude and allow my life as I let it be my amen. I can also let it be my thank you. I am grateful. I am appreciative for all that is, all that I am, all that I can be, all that I can do, what has been done, what will be done. I breathe, and so it is. Namaste, blessings, appreciation. You know the drill. I will either see you somewhere during the week or I will see you right back here in a week as we close out the month. Blessings.